Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are talking more about summer skills, whether that be pendulum skills, trebuchet skills, cooking skills, or some other type of skills.
Nunchuck skills, bow hunting skills, computer hacking skills. Girls only want boyfriends who have great skills.
Last week, we made a challenge to try to take on a new summer skill. Today, I want to do a quick follow-up on how it's going for you week 1. By now, you should have picked a skill area to focus on, get in at least 2 minutes every day, and then set and try to achieve some sort of daily focus target, like 30 minutes every day or 1 hour every day or whatever makes sense for you. Maybe you nailed it, maybe you didn't. I'd love to hear either way, and I'll share my journey this week and show you how it's going. If it's been a rocky start, don't get down. Just focus on what this next week is going to look like. The important thing is to keep pushing forward. But I'll share my journey this week. For my journey, I picked electronics to study. I did manage to work on it for at least 2 minutes every day, so that's great, staying in the flow. And then so far this week, I've managed to achieve 5 hours. I set a goal of 2 hours a day. I didn't achieve that every day, but I look back and I'm really happy with the 5 hours that I achieved. I am on my way to achieving this 30-hour skill goal. Of course, life happened for us this week. My son got really sick. That made it difficult to work on his goal. My wife was an assistant director running Young Women's Camp, and then my daughter attended said Young Women's Camp. So pretty challenging in our family. We did have some success around, but I would say it was a little more challenging week. Couple of tips that I found extremely helpful was one, tracking time. Remember I showed in the last video a tracker. I found that using an app called Toggl, T-O-G-G-L, was really helpful in tracking my time. And this was especially useful if I showed up early to something or I just had a moment. I could study on my phone and then just tap that tracker, even if it was only 5 minutes or 15 minutes. I highly recommend that. I still like the physical tracker and I plan to continue using my physical tracker, but I'll probably be copying that information down from my Toggl app. Keep in mind Desmond was sick this week, but he did work on his animating. One of the best times that we had was when I actually sat down with him and we popped up a YouTube video and we got on our iPads and we started trying to fulfill his goal of doing animation. And we had a really good time together. And so one of those tips is really stepping in and working with each other. It was really great just to get started and get him going on that goal to work together. And I created a fun little animation and learned some things myself. One tip that I've heard is this idea of co-working on things. And so in this case, we both worked on animating. However, another way might be for us to all sit down near each other, but be working on our own individual goals. Support each other and really help work on this goal. So consider that as a tip to succeed. Another learning that we had across people that I talked to working on this goal, some thought they wanted to do something for 30 hours. And after getting 3 or 4 hours into it, realized that's not actually what they wanted to do. That is totally okay. What I recommend doing is recording those hours, then pivoting as quick as you can to the next thing that inspires you and focus on that. There's no point in pouring a lot of time into something that isn't going to be inspiring. Now, that being said, if it is still inspiring to you and you do want to do it, this is where you need to dig deep and push through. And it reminds me of a story. I can't remember where I heard it, but I really enjoyed the story. It was this elderly lady who wanted to learn piano, and she talked to an instructor and she said, hey, I'd really like to learn piano, but I mean like really good. And she gave him an indication of the skill level she wanted to achieve. And she said, how long would that take me if I were really dedicated to that? And he said, that's going to take 5 years. And at first she was a little down about that. Then he said, look, 5 years is going to pass either way. And at the end of that 5 years, you can either be really good at playing piano or not. And that's really stuck with me. And I realized time is going to pass. 30 hours will pass. The difference is at the end of it, will we have this ability or skill that we set out to achieve or not? And that is a direct result of what we choose to do today. I found that really inspiring. Hopefully that inspires you. It's been really fun and inspiring to hear from some of you that have reached out and shared what you've been working on. I would love to hear what you picked for your skill, and if you feel comfortable sharing how it's been going for you down here in the comments. Or you can email me at yukonwest42@gmail.com. If you missed last week's video on the kickoff for this, I highly recommend watching it here, and there are some other links to give you some additional ideas.